Go. The meeting is now being recorded. You will be muted, but if you have a question or want to share something, you can feel free to unmute. You can have your camera on or off. It is your personal choice. And you can use the chat again, or you can unmute to ask questions. The agenda for today is we will be going through an icebreaker, an introduction of the college completion component of Oakland Promise. We'll have a discussion with our panelists, our scholars, and then we'll have a larger question answer session with parents being able to ask questions and share their comments with our team. But as we get started, if you can share in the chat box, and if you feel comfortable, unmute yourself, answer the question, what makes you laugh the hardest? Okay, I see some things coming in. I can't read them as I share screen, but if anybody wants to share a few out.
So people are saying, I said TikToks. Diego said dogs and babies. Sophia said my friends. Seems like we have a baby theme. Diamond said babies and herself. Hey, that's a good one.
That's true.
They said emojis.
I am legitimately the funniest person y'all will ever meet. I'm telling you that right now.
Love that confidence.
Right.
And then Emily said British comedy. And then Angelica, second TikToks.
Yes. All right. And building off of that, Diamond is one of our panelists today. So I'm excited to see that energy and the jokes coming through. And thank you all for sharing. Feel free to continue to put in the chat if you weren't able to just yet. And thank you, Jess, for reading those out. And now I'll pass it over to Jess to talk about college completion.
So good morning. Oh, good afternoon, actually. Sorry. I'm also with Alexis. I think it's 11 a.m. Good afternoon, y'all. My name is Jessica. I work with the college completion team. I'm an advising associate, and college completion is composed of two different groups that are now one. We work with scholars and we work with mentors. And one of the things we do when we do scholar help is we help students navigate their way through college by coaching them and also allowing them to find resources on their own. The students that are here today are part of a program we have, which is called Cruise. They help navigate first year scholars, like how they navigate college. And they will also be doing workshops and other things that we basically, well, Angelica, who's also here present, they have constructed this whole thing where students will help other students learn the processes of their college. So yeah, those are the scholars you're going to meet today and who we are. We also are the ones that give out the scholarship money. So yeah, that's a little bit of our team.
Yay. Thank you for sharing, Jess. And just as a reminder, all of our programs fall under Oakland Promise. So as a brilliant baby parent, as your child gets older, they'll go from brilliant baby to kindergarten to college access, and then they get to meet Jess, Angelica, and all the other members of the college completion team. So again, just a reminder, we have you from cradle to college to career, and we're excited to have college completion with us today. And what we're all here for, to talk to our scholars and meet our scholars. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and we're going to start sharing introductions and hop into the panel.
Awesome. So the first scholar we have today coming into the ring is Christopher. He is a junior at San Francisco State University, and he likes to draw. Our second panelist, coming into the ring, Diamond. She is a sophomore at Laney College, and she's a photographer and artist. But as we just learned, she's also a comedian. We also have Sophia Hawkins, sophomore at Dexter University. And she did not, and her fun fact is she did not learn how to ride a bike till she was 17. And then we have Tom, who is a sophomore at College of Alameda. And fun fact, she can rap, y'all. She's coming in with the raps. And that's our panel for today. We're going to go through our questions. We're going to ask some questions, obviously, as we go through. As a reminder, there will be a time for you guys to ask your own questions. And I think to start it off, is it you or me, Alexis?
Yes. And before we begin, if you can look at your name within the Zoom, and if it's a name other than yours, please rename yourself, or type, if you don't know how to rename yourself, put in the chat your name, because I see another Alexis Hornsby and it's not me. So just a reminder, if your name is not yours on this Zoom, either type it in the chat or rename yourself so we can take attendance. And if the panelists feel comfortable coming on camera as we start the panel. Awesome. And yes, first question, thank you, Jess. It'll be me. So first thing is, what are some things that you wish your parent or guardian understood about applying to college?
I guess I'll go first. So I think one thing that for me, what my parents understood was the stressful this situation is, the stress to apply for the college, the scarcity of getting accepted or getting denied, the stressful part of where should I go? Should I go to San Francisco State or should I go somewhere else farther? You know, that's the biggest thing I wish my parents understood. And the fact that I wish they understood the part about like living on campus or not living on campus in order to be more successful or be closer to campus or not. I wish that's one thing my parents would have understood. Do I go next? I do not know the orders.
Yeah, you can go when you feel comfortable.
I had the same thing. For me, I wanted to go to a school that accommodated the things that I wanted to do. I'm very passionate with working with kids and also like doing art and music and everything. So I was trying to find a field that focuses mostly on both of those things. And really, your ideal dream school, sometimes it may come true, sometimes it doesn't. So for me, I just considered to go to Laney because I heard good things about Laney, and also too, I heard they have good programs for childcare and a good engineering program also too, to where I could trade in and transfer. So I was just like, why not? Sometimes making that big step of going out of state is not ideal for a lot of people. Some people are not truly ready for it, and it's easier to stay closer to home and have the people that will support you and will care for you, especially if you need a foundation of where you want to feel safe and at home and in that comfort zone. Sometimes it is good for people to get out their comfort zone. It just depends on the person.
Any other scholar want to answer before we move on?
I can go next. So I think just in general, because I also saw a lot of Asian parents. So what I want to say is to expect the children to be more mature during college and also respect their choice of major and the college that they choose to attend. And I think it's in general, it's fine to give them suggestion on what kind of career the parents think it might be suitable for their children, but just to make sure not to force them to take the majors or to get into the career path that the parents think are the best for them. And this is because in college is the time that kind of overlap the transition between teenhood to adulthood. So I think it's just very important to practice being independent and believing their students and scholars of their own judgment and stuff like that. So just make sure the parents don't overly force students to do whatever they wanted.
Thank you for that. Sophia, do you want to add anything?
I would say like my experience with my like mom in particular was kind of different because I have an older brother, so she understood like what the application process was like going to college, and herself like having I don't know, my mom's kind of like a hippie. So she wasn't really tripping about me like going to school out of state. Like she expected me like not to call her when like she called me back or whatever. She just expected it. So I think her having that approach of like she's kind of let me go and become my own person was something that made my college like transition from high school really smooth, because even when I did like mess up a little bit, I knew that my mom was always there to support me, which was really nice.
Beautiful. Thank you guys for sharing. The next question is, how did you pick your college? What made you decide that that university was the best option for you? And we can go in order again, how we did. So we can start off with Christopher and then go Diamond, then Pei, and then Sophia.
One thing that helped me choose my college was the fact that my family had a big role to play in it. They didn't want me to go any further. That way I could be close to home. I didn't have to dorm. That way I saved some money. Another thing was I knew some of my friends who were going to SF State, so I kind of led my way towards them, just to be comfortable, not get to go with people that I already know. And one other thing was the fact that I knew SF State had a great education program that I could have utilized in my career.
For me, I heard about the Emoja program from I would say my other career advisors at Cosmo High School. So I got more in depth about different schools of Laney and schools out of state. But for the most part, I would say Laney was one of my second options. Cogswell College was my first one, only because they had a business and engineering program. But Laney actually fit with my scholarship and accommodated me with more accessible resources to where I can actually achieve and transfer to a four-year college if I want to.
So for me, I have 4 reasons why I choose College of Alameda over four-year college. So the first one is affordability. I didn't want to have like 20 or $30,000 debt for going to a university and not really knowing what to study or what to major in. Also going to community college helps me to have like a little kind of like a gap year, but also doing the GA requirements. So allowing me to really think through what I really want to study or be specific in. The last reason I have is family responsibility. Since I'm the only one who speaks English at home, I have to do all the translation, and I can't really go too far from my house. So a four-year college is a little too much for me at the moment. And oh, I forgot to mention about why I chose College of Alameda specifically, because Laney College is actually closer to my house, simply because I want a shorter waiting line. And Laney College has a lot of students, so you have to wait longer in line to just get appointments done and all that.
I chose to go to Drexel for one, the financial aid they offered me compared to any other college I went to was exceptional. So how could I refuse that? One, the second reason was the location. I really wanted to get out of California, and Drexel University is in Philadelphia. So I had a nice little trek across the country. The third reason, at Drexel, we have this program in our junior year called co-op where we get to take a semester off and like work in our field and we get credit for it. And usually like 80% of like majority of students who do stuff like that end up getting a job after graduation. So I was interested in that, like having the opportunity to set myself up before I even graduate. And the fourth, is there a fourth? No, that's it.
Thank you all for sharing. The next question we have is, how, if at all, has your relationship with your parents changed since you've been in college?
For me, I actually lost connection with my family. Me being part of becoming a person who I am, becoming part of the LGBTQ plus community, they didn't accept me for who I wanted to be. So throughout college, freshman year to now, I have never been in contact with my family or anything. So now I'm on my own. So I haven't college put me through the works. I could say.
I would say I agree with that right there. Also being part of the LGBTQ community, people look at me differently, especially my family. I'm honestly the same person that they've been on for the longest of time. But for me, I would say my connection actually with my father got stronger because he started to see how more determined I was of not letting anything stagnate me and just decrease or interrupt my growth or anything that I have going on. With my mother, we always bumped heads. She doesn't really see things how I see stuff. I see life as you have to take what you get and go with the flow. And sometimes you just gotta roll with the punches and actually be proud of the day that you're living because we all have the same 24 hours, but it's what you make in your 24 hours. So going to school and making these choices that I've had made, I'm actually pretty proud of myself because with the odds being against me of being part of LGBTQ and a color person in the community of Oakland, it's a lot of odds against me. So just going through the punches and rolling with them and making the best out of everything has always been a goal of mine and has always been a main focus of mine.
I think for me, it's actually kind of a little bit reverse. So for me, going to college and learn a lot about social sciences and all those stuff kind of helps me to understand the weird behaviors from my parents a little bit more. And I have a more peaceful and mutual understanding relationship with my parents compared to high school. Yeah.
I would say similar to Pei. My relationship with my mom has definitely gotten better, I guess. Like growing up and like being out on your own and like really becoming your own adult, you can empathize with your parents a lot more. So like I understand her perspective of like when I was younger, when her and I would butt heads a lot. Now I'm like, dang, I was kind of being over the top some of the time. She just wanted the best for me. So yeah, it definitely helped our relationship a lot.
Oh my God, thank you guys for answering that question. I know it could be a little tough to answer it sometimes. It's a heavy question, and I'm glad that all of you guys were willing to answer it. So appreciate you guys a lot. Our next question is, what has motivated you to continue your education?
The one person who motivated me to continue my education was Jessica Vasquez over here. She had to smack some sense into me multiple times on different semesters, different years, to persuade me or to continue my education, and it always worked. And this is the reason why I'm still in college.
I totally agree with that. The things that keep me motivated and pushing, I said, is myself. The things I want to do in the future. I really feel like you're your own successor. You're the main prize. You're the main focus. You're the trophy. I've always told people, no matter what you go through in life, you're the trophy because we're the next generation to change generations of the next generation to make things better for ourselves and for our just community in general. So just knowing what I can be when I also can become to be as a tongue twister for myself. I don't know why, but just knowing what I can become is like extraordinary to me. It's just waiting. Like I just can't wait to see what the next 5 years have in store for me.
So for me, it's based on one simple belief that I believe education makes me a better person in terms of wealth, not just for getting better paying jobs, but also spiritually rich. Because education helps me learn more about myself, others, and everything in world in general. And I have been missing school for about 4 years, from second grade to sixth grade. And I sort of being isolated from the society because I was just staying home there doing nothing. So I deeply understand the values of information and the power of being ignorant, which is basically not knowing what to do, even if you encounter life's challenges. And I know that my past ignorance was caused by a lack of training in academics, lack of socialization knowledge, and language barrier. And also I did suffer a little bit from relearning how to build relationships with other people. I also retain some of the children's trait like curiosity, openness, and growth mindset. And of course, adults can also have those traits, but I think they're not as strong as children's just because our minds are usually stuffed with full of judgment, past experience, and negative emotions and all that. And basically what I want to emphasize from my story is that what motivates me is the feeling and excitement of learning, the process of learning, and not just for getting the social awards for being a good learner. And I also want to emphasize that just don't ever force your kid to study very hard for academics and take a bunch of APs and all that, unless they really want to do it on their own. And yeah, so I mean, sorry, I'm just looking at my reading notes. Anyway, so what I wanted to convey from my story is believe that you can change for the better. Education might not always bring you money, but everything you learn from education is not going to be wasted. And they're going to help you at some point in life, whether you are aware of it or not.
Something I would say that keeps me motivated. I'm a firm believer in like it takes a village to raise a child. And like my family, that rings like very true. I was raised by like very strong women. And so like I guess in the absence of like my father and like us having our issues, my grandma kind of stepped into that role, and she's an immigrant and she never got a college education. And that's like always the biggest, oh my gosh, why am I getting emotional? Get out. Anyway, that's like her biggest motivation. Like she always like was so upset that she never got a college degree. So like when I feel like I can't keep going, I go for her. So yeah.
Wow.
Oh my God, that was lovely. Sophia, you got me emotional. I don't know why, girl. I cannot hear you. Be like that.
Yes. I just want to say thank you so much for the scholars. Thank you for being vulnerable. Thank you all for just existing in the space, sharing your wisdom and your experiences. We will be opening it up to the rest of the families to ask questions to the scholars. But if we can get some like good vibes in the chat to celebrate our scholars so far, because they've shared so much vulnerability. Can we get some reactions and just show some love to them right now as we transition into our open question and answer session? Yes. So if you have any questions, feel free to unmic or share them in the chat. And we'll continue moderating with you all at the forefront.
Also, if you don't want to unmute, you're welcome to write it in the chat. If you have any follow-up questions that you want to ask, this is the perfect time. We're going to give it 4 minutes for anyone to ask questions. We do have alternative questions, so we'll just let anyone that wants to ask a question, this is the perfect time.
This is Emily. I have a question. I was just wondering if you guys started from like beginning to end, like childhood until adulthood, or if maybe the program wasn't started then. And then if so, how much, were you able to really save and put aside and have maybe family members put money and add money into your account to the point where you felt like a little bit, secure with money for college?
Emily, can I ask a clarification question? Are you asking like if students, like how they would feel comfortable would be like an appropriate amount to have for saved?
No, I was just wondering, like, I'm not sure this program, if the people that we're talking to today, if they started from, infancy on, but I know that that My 529 that helps you get your college education, there's points along the way where they'll add money or money will go up or down depending on how you guys have it, like the risk assessment of it. So I'm just wondering if the people that we're talking to now were able to establish enough money in their My 529 account to sort of feel a little confident about going to school.
Thank you for that question. These scholars were not a part of Brilliant Baby. We haven't had the chance or enough years yet to transition a Brilliant Baby into college completion yet. So they would not have had the Brilliant Baby My 529. But Diamond, I saw you unmiked, so.
Yeah, I would say I wasn't a part of it, but Oakland Promise is amazing program. Honestly, it has changed my life greatly. I can tell you that right now. So the fact that they're doing this to actually start up for the younger kids in generation is extraordinary and incredible, because I wish I had something like that. Only because Oakland Promise has made so much things better and clear for me. They have gave me a mentor who is extraordinary and amazing. Me and that person actually connect together and is down to the T. Literally, my advisor, shout out to Angelica, she has been rock solid to help me with everything and anything I need help with. Oakland Promise is just an extraordinary program. So being a part of their family is 10 times better, because it's actually really a family. When you feel like you don't have nobody to turn to, you have them to turn to for everything and anything. Life advice, mentorship, and anything that you want. They are literally there to help you with housing, school, books, anything that you cannot afford and can't find no accommodations to, they accommodate you with everything. So literally, they're the best, hands down, in my opinion.
Wow. So you feel really supported even without having access to that. That's kind of like, something you can't pay for. You have that. That's really great. Thank you for sharing, Diamond.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Does anyone else have any questions? This can also be about like these scholars are part of like the college completion team as of now. They have not grown, as Alexis said, into from Brilliant Baby. But this is a perfect time to ask questions on them, how they feel about the program. Because obviously we do different programming. And yeah, like Diamond said, as you can hear from them, we're always in their business.
So is there a hub then? Obviously I was introduced to Brilliant Baby during the pandemic, so I wouldn't even know. Is there a hub that you go to and they have, mentors for you and things like that? Or is this all done virtually?
So I think the scholars can speak into that. We introduce ourselves to them. We tell them like, oh, I'm your advisor. And then they get paired up with mentors. And then this is all done from the moment they start the program. They know if something changes, they're told though. Like they're told like, oh, you have a different advisor. So yeah, that's how that goes through the program. But they can speak on that too. Like, I don't know how you guys feel about that. Like it was really different getting help support online, obviously for 2020. But emailing and texting has been everyone's friend, and Zoom. So they can attest to that. But there is no like hub like where they can tap in. They just kind of email us and we kind of help them through with whatever they need, and they get sent where the appropriate help can be given.
Oh, great. Yeah, that answers my question. Thank you.
I saw a question in the chat that somebody asked about what if your child doesn't know their major or have an interest to choose one? That's perfectly fine. For me, I knew I wanted to do music, of course, and have my MA in business and entrepreneurship, but I also wanted to have a diversity of something else. So I kind of was just playing around and figure out what I can do. I actually started to get my PhD in psychology because I actually want to become a therapist for younger children and also adults also too. Because for me, I feel like knowing how people feel, how the mind thinks and how the mind works is extraordinary. But also too, knowing how to connect on a person with the person on a deeper level, to know how to accommodate them, even if I've never been through what they've been through, sympathizing with them and putting myself in their shoes. you can choose anything, even if you don't know. You have the choice to switch and flip through and just feel whatever you want to feel for, because that's literally what school's about. So they don't have to have a major set goal on what they want to get a major in or a PhD or minors.
Diamond, did you say you went to Laney College? Or
Yeah,
someone
I
goes
currently
to,
attend Laney.
yeah, you did. Okay, so you taking music at Laney.
Yes, so right now, I'm self-taught, but I want to learn more about like audio engineering and making beats and stuff. So right now I'm currently taking music classes, business, and psychology.
Okay, that's really cool that they have that program. I didn't realize they had like music services.
Yeah, they give you the basic math classes that you're supposed to take for the music services to get transferred into a program to where you can start working with like people who are in the music industry and stuff. And they also find schools that are compatible with you that are either in 4 years or whatever else you want to do and transfer.
That's cool.
Another thing to add on to that question, if your child doesn't know what he wants to go into, they could also go into college undeclared major. Basically, undeclared means you can just go in your general education, you can practice the different classes, and see what fits to that, what his or her needs, and they can figure it out as long as they go. As long as they go, they can be undeclared for 2 years and then choose a major. 3 years, choose a major. It's all up to them until they figure out what they want to major in.
Another thing to add on to that is that since this is Brilliant Baby, y'all got time. Like for me, I know I went to go to college in the 6th grade. I went to go to Duke University. That dream sailed years ago. But it's like through high school, through middle school, I changed the major or the thing I wanted to do like 7 different times. So like in those really, I guess, formative years of like adolescence, giving like, the opportunity to like change your mind and like change whatever you feel, I feel like is what led me to my college major. Then also like what Christopher said, like just go in undeclared, because sometimes you'll find like a class that really piques your interest and then that's what you want to major in. So it all depends on the person.
I have a question. Um, so I think maybe what I'm missing is more so like an understanding of what Oakland Promise is exactly and how like it has supported the students, because I hear you students saying that it's been a great program, but it also be a better just to get a better understanding of how you feel like they supported you and what they have given to you to help you through your college experience.
And then there's another question in the chat that I think could help build onto this one. And it was, when were you introduced to the program? And maybe that can help contextualize from that point, how have they helped you from then?
Yeah, so for me, Oakland Promise was introduced to me in high school, my senior year. Basically, everyone in my high school who was going to college applied to it. They got accepted to it. One thing Oakland Promise has helped me with was the scholarship money, being able to help me pay for the college, pay for my books, and pay for essentials I need for school. That's one thing Oakland Promise has helped me with, along with other things, helping me continue on. Jessica helping me continue on with the school, helping me with have any questions about work related, anything, questions that she could help me get resources if I didn't know anything. If I need help internships, I could ask Oakland Promise to help me get connected to people. One thing Oakland Promise has is connection. It's a very big program. They help you get connected to different people and different resources.
Yes, sir. That's major. I would say for me, I went to Castlemont, so most of the Oakland Promise people kind of did work as career advisors at my school. I was introduced to it my sophomore year. I knew of it, but I didn't apply until my senior year from when I was graduating. But I've heard a lot of good things about it. I've seen a lot of people I knew that graduated actually be part of Oakland Promise program and alumni and stuff. I've seen events that they had. I've actually been to one of their events that they used to have before COVID and stuff hit. And so I was just intrigued on the things that they were doing. And the way Oakland Promise has helped me is with housing, money, funding, and also finding ways for me to actually step into a career place where I can actually work with kids. Shout out to Oakland Promise. Because of them, I'm actually going to now be after school program teacher part time during the school time when school starts. So I will be doing that and teaching kids and reaching out to elementary school kids. I also worked with Youth Together, Youth Uprising, and a bunch of other places because of the people I've met and co-worked with and connected with. So I would say like Oakland Promise really puts their foot forward to help their kids. Like you said, they are always in our business. They make sure that we're good, even if we feel like we're not good. Even if they feel like, okay, you're off, I'm gonna check up on you. What's wrong? Why have you been lacking? How can I help you? What can I support you? If you have people who reach out to you bi-weekly, or if they haven't heard from you in a minute, they're gonna come to you. So Oakland Promise is a family. Like I said, they're just truly a family.
Is there an age range for Oakland Promise? Like, does it stop after a while? Like, what if you take 5 years of a gap year or something? Can you still call them up and say, hey, I need your help?
I think this is more a question for college completion, but yes, we do services beyond just after we have an alumni program that's being built up in order to reach our scholars once they're done to help them navigate the workforce. So that's an extension of that we're currently building out. And there is an age limit. So let's say you take a gap year, you have to be within the program. You're welcome to come back as long as you communicate with us. The scholarship is valid for 5 years, but if you do not contact with us, you get disqualified after 2 if you have not communicated with us. But there's always a way back because we also do Reboot, which is a program that, let's say you failed or you were academically dismissed, so on and so forth, you can return back via Reboot. And this is all on our website. So if you want to go and learn more about all the stuff that we offer, if you go to oaklandpromise.org, you can go ahead and click on college completion site, and it shows more of the in-depth programming we do with a little bit more of like summaries on it.
Thank you.
Do we have any additional questions for our scholars?
Cool. No more questions from anyone? Do you want to do one more question, Alexis, or do you just want to break?
I think we can ask one more question and then close out.
Cool. You can pick whichever one.
Let's see. You all answered our question of how the program supported you. So I guess from the scholars, what words of wisdom do you have for these parents and families as they're raising children between the age of 0 to 5 at this point?
One thing is, I believe, like Sophia said, you guys have time. You know, you still got to get through elementary to middle school and then to high school. One thing is to let your kids grow. Let them learn from their mistakes. Let them grow and be their own person. Let them choose their own path. And always just show them your love and your support, because that's what children need at the time. They need your love and support. They don't need you to criticize their every move, their every mistake, their everything. They need you to accept for them for who they are. If they choose it, then let them choose their own college, let them choose their own major. And one thing about college is the scholarships, you know. Money will be expensive. College is expensive, but there's always different ways to get it. Working, family, scholarships, you know. The biggest thing is let their kids grow. Let them enjoy being young.
I would say for me, your kids are the prize. Your kids are trophies. Your kids deserve to hear affirmations, deserve to hear that they're going to be greatness, that they are greatness, and that greatness will come with them as they follow along. Even if they have the odds up against them, they have struggles and challenges, they are still valued. They matter, and they are well needed and well deserved. If they feel like as they get older, certain colleges that they want to go to, they always should know that that college will be lucky to have them, no matter what. Every kid deserves to grow, like you said, learn from their own mistakes. Every kid deserves to hear affirmations, deserves to know that they're important, that they are valued, and that they are mattered. The love from our parents, it is very well needed through the times that we grow and through the times that we make mistakes. Even though we make our mistakes, and it might be some mistakes that parents may think is like, why did you do it? We still need to know that you love and value us and that your love never changed, even if we mess up and make a mistake. We just want to know that what we're doing is well seen and matter, that all of our mistakes don't add up or overlay our accomplishments and our achievements that we're doing. So always accommodate and recognize your kids for their accomplishments more than their mistakes.
So for me, I would say educate them from your action, not just speaking. And if you, for example, if you want a child to like reading, then you have to model and read in front of them, or just kind of read along with them in order to let them really engage into the activity and understand that the meanings that you are telling, like why reading is fun and da. Like children don't understand those things unless you actually try to engage them and they work through the process.
Something I would say is just giving them like tools to establish a good sense of self. Even though you are like their parent, at some point, like, you know, we all are in college, we had to become like our own individuals, you know, and sometimes, like, you know, life is going to be really tough, and you're going to have days where you just want to call your parents and be like, yo, this is happening and I literally cannot do this. And just giving them that space, like Diamond was talking about, to vent and like express and just actually be who they are in a world where it can feel like so constricting to like be yourself. As like parents, giving them that space, I feel like is really important.
Thank you all so much. I'm like low-key about to cry. This is all so sweet, so nice. Can we show some love in the chat for our amazing scholars, and some love for yourself as parents, as family members and guardians, for showing up, asking questions, getting involved. This was all just really beautiful, and I'm like grateful it all came together. And I'll hand it off to Jess if she has any closing remarks too.
Oh my God, thank you all for joining us. Thank you to our scholars. Appreciate you guys a lot. Thank you for being vulnerable today. I know that's a little tough to do, especially on a Monday. So thank you guys for being present. Just lots of love for everyone here. And thank you all for being so respectful of our scholars' stories too. I think that's important. And just really listening to what they had to say. I think they put this on for you guys, and just the respect, very beautiful. And thank you to our scholars for just honestly doing this for our parents. Amazing.
And with that, we hope you all enjoy your Monday, carry this beautiful energy, this love onto whatever else you have to accomplish today. But we are now officially closing out.
Bye, y'all.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.